like a buck, DOV does. As we present to you another Nightmare Night story, featuring the CMC in Cutie Mark Crusaders 3 Warriors by Jade Lin. Only chapter, Last Crusade. Where are you running, child? Surely you know there's no escape. Why not stop and accept what's coming? The sing-song voice seemed to come from everywhere around her, down her own head as well. Her legs and muscles burning. The orange Pegasus forced her way deeper and deeper into the evening blackness that surrounded her. She had no idea what she was running towards. But whatever it was, it surely couldn't be as bad as the thing following her now. Pathetic little blank flank. What mare your age doesn't even know her special talent yet? Tears of embarrassment flows from her eyes and wings, forcing herself down to comfortably cover the bare patches of fur on her flanks. Leave me alone, she cried, not stopping her desperate run for even a moment. You'll be the sweetest of all. After all, you were the one who cost me everything! The thing behind her wasn't behind her anymore. Suddenly, it was in front of her. She screamed and skidded to a halt mere inches from the opposing figure. He loomed over her, peering and leering horribly. His black eyes seemed to pierce her very soul as he reached out with a single gray hoof. And then I woke up in a cold sweat, Scootaloo shuddered as he finished recounting the most recent nightmare to her two closest friends. The once and future Cutie Mark Crusaders were sitting around a table in Secret Q Corner, sipping milkshakes. Sweet Belle took a long drink of her frozen concoction and looked her friend in the eyes. Do you remember what he looked like? Scootaloo shook her head. Not really. I'll remember he's tall, gray, and his eyes, they're blank. Both Scootaloo and Sweet Belle recoiled at the tone in Applebloom's voice. The teenage surf pony looked into the depths of her vanilla shake. Scootaloo raised an eyebrow. How did you know that? Because I have seen him too. Sweet Belle caught a small movement in Scootaloo's wings and looked at her with concern. Sweet Belle? What? You're doing it again, huh? Sweet Belle motioned her eyes towards Scootaloo's wings, now folded back further than usual that they covered her flank. You know you don't have to do that around us. Scootaloo laughed in embarrassment as she shifted her wings again, revealing her blank flank once again. Sorry, reflex. She turned back to Applebloom. What are you talking about, AB? Applebloom looked up from her glass, revealing the bags under her eyes. He traces me, just like you, but he says other things. Like what? Like he's going to finish the job he started when he killed my parents. The silence at the table was palpable. Sweet Belle was the first to speak. You don't suppose he's... No, Scootaloo cut her off. Could possibly be him. Rainbow Dash Sonic Rainbow to way out of existence. So he never said she killed him, Applebloom muttered. Scootaloo looked at her friends incredulously. She was holding him out in front of her when she was flying fast enough to penetrate the color spectrum. No pony could survive that. Sweet Belle shrugged. No pony knows what's on the other side of the rainbow either. The idea stopped Scootaloo's next retort dead in her mouth. She slanted her chest. Hello, ladies. Scootaloo's ears perked up at the dulcet tones of her cult friend. Hey, Pip, what's up? The smudge-furred colt stepped next to her and placed a tentatively kiss on her cheek. Afternoon, love. Just out with the boys. I know. It's not a Pip and Dinky ship. I know. It's just that when you read enough fanfiction where Pipsqueak is paired off with Dinky in almost every single one, it's kind of jarring not to see Pip with his lady love. Hi, Princess, Buttonmass offered, rubbing his muzzle against Sweet Belle's. I'm here on time. She returned with a light smile. Deals to you, honestly. Rumble shook his head before turning to the young farmer he was saying, You okay, Applebloom? You look a little tired. Applebloom offered him a reassuring smile. I'm fine, sugar. I just haven't been sleeping too well. Reminder in the nightmares made Scootaloo stall her romantic break with Pipsqueak mid-nestle. Guys, do you mind if we hook up with you later? We got some girl things to talk about. Pip nodded and gave her a quick pick on the lips. As the lady wishes. He motioned down to the others. All right, lads, let's give the ladies their privacy. Let's see if we can bum some candy off a twist. Goodbye kisses and nuzzles were shared with the trio of young stallions exited the store. So, do you really think it's him? Feather Duster, I mean. Applebloom shrugged. I'll never actually sell the guy. She looked across the table. Scoots? Scootaloo had to laugh. I was a fool when he snatched me from the home. I don't remember anything. Belle sighed. There's always some way for us to see each other's dreams. Well, there is a mind dell spell, but I don't know if you guys want to go to Silent Hill. A thought entered Scootaloo's mind, and she felt a small smile across her lips. Girls, go pack a bag and meet me at the train station in half an hour. Applebloom and Belle peered at her. Why? Because we're going to Camelot. The three teenagers were led into the sumptuous tower bedroom by a young bat pony guard. She scanned the room until she located the flowing mane of Commander. Majesty, it's the visitors who requested to see you. The candle's flickering flames brightened ever so lightly, illuminating the prone form of the very pregnant Princess of the Night. She smiled at Scootaloo. It's been too long, Scootaloo. You've grown since we last met. Scootaloo blushed under the stares of her fellow Crusaders. What? You know Princess Luna, personally? You never told us? Belle questioned in shock. Must have slipped my mind. Applebloom shook her head in disbelief. Well, here I thought we were just coming to get a book or something. Scootaloo turned her gaze to Luna, or rather to Luna's baldy stomach. Congratulations, by the way. Luna smiled, trailed a hoof across her belly. Like you. Belle noticed a grand dollhouse in the room's corner. The toy was nearly as tall as she was. That's really pretty. Where did you get it? She caught her nonchalant tone, spit her tongue. If your Majesty doesn't mind me asking. Luna waved her off. A gift from my sister. I keep telling her the photo's a boy, but she insists he can use it for models and such. The foal kicked and she grimaced. The doctors have informed me I should remain in bed most of the time. Even my dream walking has taken a back seat to preparing for the little prince's arrival. Funny you should mention that. Scootaloo proceeded to tell the guys an abridged version of the past few nights' events. The mysterious old stallion haunting her in Applebloom's dreams, and the abject night terrors. Luna listened till she was finished and nodded. Do you have any idea who this spectre might be? Scootaloo gulped. We're pretty sure it's an old stallion named Feather Duster. And what, pray tell, would this Feather Duster have against you three? This time all three of them spoke in turn. They told the princess all about Feather Duster, the bitter old drunk who had killed dozens of ponies, all in the name of revenge against Rainbow Dash. Scootaloo finished the story by recounting how Rainbow Dash herself seemed to end the nightmare by pushing the stallion through the sonic rainbow. When Scootaloo finished her part of the tale, Luna was in deep in thought. It's possible that this Feather Duster pony was accidentally pushed into the dreamscape by a force powerful as the rainbow. It's also very possible he's gained as much strength as he has recently, thanks to my being unable to dreamwalk these past few weeks. So, what do we do? Belle felt powerless in the shame that her two best friends were having to endure such wicked dreams as she was not. Yeah, is there anything you can do to help us? Luna shook her head sadly. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid this problem is something you'll have to conquer on your own. The three once and future Crusaders bowed their heads in defeat. But even on your own, there may be a way for you to fight. 3 sets of ears perked up, and 3 pairs of eyes looked to her with hope. Luna smiled deviously. Tell me, children, have you ever heard of lucid dreaming? Applebloom? Over here, Belle. The unicorn looked over as her earth-flying friend materialized next to her. Is that really you, or am I dreaming you? The thought made her eyes cross. This is making my head hurt. The yellow teen stepped over and bit her matter-of-factly on the ear. Ow! Belle pulled away rather sore appendage. Okay, so you're really here. Where's Scootaloo? Right here. There was a popping sound. It sounded like Scootaloo stood between them. Have you been here the whole time? Applebloom admonished her. Scootaloo giggled and nodded. Sorry, I haven't done anything like this in a long time. When I was a filly, I would dream up Rainbow Dash and go on solo-ring adventures with her. Figured I lost that Billy when I grew up. Well, according to the princess, you didn't. Since you've had more experience doing than us, and that quick lesson she tell us about this lucid dreaming thing, You gotta take charge, got it? Scootaloo nodded and looked ahead. So, whose dream world are we in? Sweetbelle rolled her eyes. As though we even need to ask. They were standing over a hill, overlooking a forest that seemed to go on forever. The sun blazed high in the sky, and the birds sang from the branches down below. Scootaloo breathed in, and was assaulted by the fragrance of a peculiar fruit. She looked at Applebloom with a deadpan look in her eyes. An apple orchard. You dream about apple orchards. Applebloom laughed. You try living on an apple farm for 16 years, not dreaming about apples all the time. The three stared straight quickly with grass and headed down the hill. Caroline, Princess Luna watched the three slumbering ponies on the cushions next to her beds. The sleep charm hidden in her persistent, unlucid dreaming had worked perfectly, and if everything was still going to plan, then the three were all currently sharing the same dream space. She sighed as she snored lightly, and longed for the ability to help them. The fall inside her kicked, as she caressed her soul inside, saying slightly, Hush, my little one. You're too young for nightmares yet. She looked back to the former Crusaders and sighed. Good luck, my little ponies. The three teens were now in the thick of the orchard. The sun shone strong on them and warmed them comfortably. This is really nice, Scootaloo had to admit, stretching her wings and popping her joints. Kinda makes me wanna... And she was gone, buzzing in the air for a bit for flying. Belle slipped out and sniffed her head in disapproval. Take a sign. Applebloom laughed. Tell me about it. A rebel's always flying around, showing off. It's unbearable. Sometimes I wonder what it'd be like if I tried my luck with a pony a little more down to earth. So, why don't you? Applebloom tried. Apples and Pegasus. Just in the bowl, I guess. Oh, what was the apple family? Doomed to the lives of ultimate happiness with stallions and mares who drift on the wind like leaves. Sweetbelle exaggerated her movements as he flailed her hose about like a conductor, or her mother. Can't, drama queen! Applejack spat out between laughs. I ain't complaining, just thinking out loud. Do you think Mac and Angie would disapprove you of not dating a Pegasus? Why you ask? Sweetbelle looked away. Well, it's just that a certain pony's been asking about. No! Applebloom stopped her. Snails hate his plants. You can tell him that the next time he talks your ear off about me. I've been trying to get Button to stop bringing him around, but he's always tagging along and always talking about you. Well, every time he does talk about him, remind him of why I dumped the Star Flank in the first place. She snorted and bucked a nearby tree. She caught the falling apple in her mouth and began to chew it whole. Slinking around with Diamond Tiara. You know she just did that to get back at you for kissing Featherweight that one time. For Celestia's sake, it was one case. I was trying to cheer him up after you two broke up. How was I supposed to know she'd been crushed on for who knows how long? Sweetbelle used her magic to grab an apple of her own. She polished it just before taking a dainty bite. You just need to learn how to amicably end relationships, like me. Like when you twice broke up? Sweetbelle choked on the apple and spit out the cheap portion. Ouch, that was a low blow. Applebloom smiled. Sorry. It's okay. Well, you two are quite finished, Scootaloo's voice came from overhead. There's something you need to see. It was a wall, invisible unless you were standing directly in front of it. Up close, waves were barely tangibility. What is it? Sweetbelle asked. A barrier between dream worlds, Scootaloo explained. Probably leads to mine, since me and Applebloom's heads are so close together. How do we get through? We don't. Scootaloo ended and looked back from the orchard where they'd come. If we cross into my dream world, we'll be separated again. Fairytale could attack us at any moment, so we need to stick together. How can I find him? Scootaloo saw something in the distance, and her eyes widened in fear. I don't think that's going to be a problem! The other two turned, looked, and felt the same fear that Pegasus did. The orchard was dying before their eyes. The sun in the sky faded to a dull black circle that barely gave off any light. The lack of sun caused the leaves to brown and fall from the branches. The apples faded, withered, and tried to the vine. The pleasant aroma of apples was replaced by the overwhelming stench of rot. The once plump fruits fell to the ground and joined the leaves to create a blanket of death that choked the earth. The bird was gone and replaced by a distant, ominous thunder. No, not thunder. Laughter.
He's higher!
Applebloom moaned in horror. Luna heard Applebloom whine, and watched her face scrunch in terror. Contact, she whispered.
Where is he?
Belle asked, looking around desperately. In answer, the ground beneath their feet cracked and split apart. The three friends screamed as they were each raised onto a pillar high in the sky. The rest of the earth below heaved like a mare about to drop a foal, then collapsed to the distant abyss below. An enormous shape rose from the blackness. It shot up until its eyes were eye level with the teens. It was coated in patchy fur. Its mane was a few ragged strings of hair. The black, pond-sized eyes narrowed in dark amusement as its mouth sneered. The gigantic beast that had once been Feather Duster laughed at them.
I don't remember him being this big,
Scootaloo squeaked.
My either.
Applebloom was finally trembling. Feather Duster laughed again. Foolish little mouse. Alone your fear was enough to draw me to you, but to make myself whole again. Together, you succeeded in making me stronger than I've ever been before. His eyes focused on Sweetie Belle. And who are you?
Who I am isn't important, Sweetie Belle stammered. I know who you are, Feather Duster.
The giant laughed again. Indeed, that is the name I once had, back when I was alive. Back in Equestria.
What do you want with this?
Applebloom screamed, glaring as much defiance as he could muster. With you, nothing. You are but a means to an end. The sin I committed against your family was enough to allow me to find you and draw power from your fear. But with you, he focused on Scootaloo, with you I want everything. Scootaloo tried not to shrink beneath the massive eyes.
Why me?
You were supposed to be was a distraction, a means to my end. Rescuing you gave Rainbow Dash the confidence to stop me from completing my work and getting my ultimate revenge.
Scootaloo glared. Rainbow Dash didn't need confidence to stop you. She would have beaten you even if I had died.
This is not revenge against you, child. The thing's smile grew wider. This is my ultimate victory over Rainbow Dash.
What?
I've been in the dream world for 16 years, slowly gaining strength from nightmares and the fear of little fillies. When Princess Luna returned, I watched her and observed how she walked between dreams and the real world. I waited and watched. The smile grew more wicked. I've seen Princess Luna's dreams, you know. Not many ponies sleep during the day like she does. Watching her dreams, I knew there would come a time when she would cease to walk the dream world, and I would have my chance at last.
Chance for what?
Rainbow Dash destroyed my body when she sent my spirit to the dream world. I have no vessel to return to Equestria on my own. He licked his cracked lips. But now I have yours. Scootaloo backed away in revulsion.
You want my body?
Feather Duster nodded. With your body, I can get close enough to Rainbow Dash to finish what I started 16 years ago. Imagine the look of betrayal in her eyes when her own sister plunges that knife into her heart.
No!
Scootaloo lost herself with a cry, smashed herself as hard as she could into the old gray head.
I won't let you!
He laughed to swat her away with one boulder-sized hoof. She barely managed to land her hooves back on her parrot, glared at the behemoth.
We'll stop you!
How? He asked mockingly. You don't even know your purpose in life. Blank. His voice teens pitch became all too familiar. His pupils slipped in and became rough images of Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon.
You've been crusading for almost 10 years now. Why don't you give up and admit you don't serve any purpose? You should just kill yourself. Don't listen to it, Scootaloo.
Sweetie Belle screamed as she watched Scootaloo wither before the psychological assault. She saw her friends winking her friends' flat wings to cover her blank flank.
We're right here with you.
And you. The great head turned to her now. The pupils changed again, this time to Rarity and Spike. The voice changed to a cruel mockery of her mother's voice.
Pathetic little mistake, that's all you are. And I tried to live a life after I gave you to my parents, but in the end you came back to me. All you do is hold me back. I wish you'd never been born. Mommy, Sweet Belle whispered. Pulls with tears.
They celeste you for small favors, the Spike Eye laughed. The best part being with Rarity is that at least I can't give her another bastard daughter like you.
Sweet Belle slumped as her legs gave out.
I'm not a bastard,
she whispered.
Stop!
Applebloom cried.
Stop hurting her. She didn't do anything to you.
The head turned to her, and eyes were now Macintosh and Applejack.
Funny you should mention that,
the thing said in Applejack's drawl.
Me and Mike never did nothing to deserve to raise you. Ain't fair we got saddled and run the litter.
Macintosh image glared.
I wish your dad was more.
Epilogue couldn't take it. She collapsed into a field position and began to rock and forth. Just a burden. I don't want him, she whispered. The demon looked at the three broken fillies and began to laugh uproariously. His victory was near. Luna watched in horror as the three teens began to convulse and sob on the floor. While it was happening, they weren't winning. She tried to close her eyes and to will her astral form to the dreamscape, but everything she tried just let her drain. Desperately, she physically reached a hoof out to the girls. I have to save them, she thought. Her foot kicked. In a blast of air, she flew from the horn and engulfed the sleeping trio. Luna's eyes rolled in the back of her head. One thought crossed her mind before blackness took her. My magic. Something is using my magic. Feather Duster's laughter rose in mid-guffaw. The air itself seemed to stand perfectly still. One by one, the girls looked into the sky. The sun was gone, replaced by a strangely half-light moon. A dark shape glided towards them in the moon and drifted down until it stood before it in all its glory. It was a stallion. He appeared, for all intents and purposes, to be an alicorn. His horn was long and elegant. It was held aloft by a pair of flapping wings. His further feathers were bluish black, like a sky just after the sun had set. His mane was flowing through a path which stars and planets could be seen, careening through the abyss. He regarded them with pitying eyes. Who are you? Applebloom asked, taken by his beauty almost instantly.
Who I am is not important.
He spoke. His voice was like a whisper in a trumpet, as starkly magnificent as the rest of him.
You are stronger than this abomination.
How do you know?
Look inside yourselves. All three of you know love, and filtered and true. Using that, you can see past any illusion.
Scootaloo looked and saw the smiling faces of her adopted parents. She heard the sweet encouraging words of love. She saw Rainbow Dash's proud eyes as they watched her become a truly great fighter. Sweet Belle looked and saw her mother, her beautiful, precious mother. She remembered that moment so many years ago, when they found each other at last. Applebloom looked and saw her entire family, felt their love and pride in her. She saw little baby Scarlet, her darling niece Belle, and reached for the unrequested love and trust of a child. Finally, they saw their love for each other. How through the good and bad times, how their friendship never wavered, not even once. They shared a bond so few these days truly knew. Best friends. Together, they stood and looked at each other, nodded and looked again at the mysterious alicorn. He offered the slightest of smiles and began to ascend once again. Wait! Who are you? Scootaloo cried. He spoke his name in that quiet voice. The moon above wavered like a fading ripple, and both it and the alicorn were gone. Feather Duster's mocking laughter returned, but it held no fear from them for this time. Okay, guys, if any of you want to play some Dokken, mainly Dream Warriors from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, that would be great. Thanks.
Remember what Luna said,
Scootaloo remarked.
Anything you want, just make it happen.
Applebloom pawed at the stone beneath her hose and grinned.
Let's try this then.
With a fierce battle cry she could mutter, she reared back and struck the earth with all her might. An enormous apple tree burst from the pillar, and impaled Feather Duster right through the stomach. The look on his face was worth all the nightmares he had put them through.
What?
Say hello to Scarlet,
to turn your store knocked down.
My turn. Sleepy Belle began to inhale. You two might want to cover your ears. Applebloom and Scootaloo didn't need to be told twice. Once her lungs were full, she released it in the highest notes she could carry and possibly sing. The pebbles between her feet shattered from the noise. A feather duster cried in agony as blood poured from its ear. His left eye actually shattered like it was made out of glass. Sweet Applebloom looked at her friend with new admiration. Never heard you hit that note before. Sleepy Belle shrugged. Mom doesn't let me practice at home. She hates having to replace the glasses.
Scootaloo took it and focused on the withering giant.
Girls, girls, girls. She grinned. It's a dream. The sky's the limit.
In response, the air was filled with a piercing noise of a dozen pegasi, breaking the sound barrier at once. 12 seats slammed to stop, inches from their teens, defensive formation. Each was wearing a sky blue Wonderbolt uniform, and glared at Feather Duster with an undisguised hatred. Rainbow Dash looked back at Scootaloo.
We'll take it from here, Squirt.
Scootaloo saluted. Dash returned the salute, turned to the mare floating next to her.
Ready, Firefly?
The mare who had given her life to protect Scootaloo was returned to her youthful state in Scootaloo's dream world. Her grin now shone in the vibrant pink of her coat.
Let's get him.
As one, the Dream Wonderbolts blasted at Feather Duster, began buzzing around his head like a hive of angry bees. He screamed and waved his hooves in a vain attempt to swat them away, but they deftly avoided his blows. Their wings cut jagged lines into his face, and he began to trot her backwards.
Wonderbolts!
Dash and Firefly shouted together.
Let's finish this!
Tearing in response, the squadron circled back and formed themselves into a massive arrow. As the arrows tipped, Firefly held her hoof out, though making Fire Duster with a brand.
For Scootaloo! For the Crusaders!
Came the reply, and the arrows shot forward in one lightning-fast motion. They collided with the stomach, a giant, and pierced his chest. Feather Duster screamed and fell back into the abyss. The tree in his stomach was pulled from Applebloom's pillar and began to collapse. She jumped into Sleepy Belle's at the last minute and looked down into the darkness.
Is it over?
Scootaloo glided over to the pillar.
Yeah, I think it is.
They laughed and embraced each other, complimenting each other on their dream weapons of choice. Just as they were trying to figure out how to wake up, the behemoth rose again. Fairy Duster's one remaining eye blazed with hate. The wounds from the Wonderbolt's wings had cut deep, and the flesh of his face began to fall off, revealing a black skull. A ficus green liquid poured from his chest and stomach wounds. He wasn't laughing anymore. You cannot defeat me! Each word was a choking wheeze. I am eternal! Applebloom gazed at the figure with disgust and horror.
Well, will it do?
The thing forced a smile. Die! He raised a hoof to finish them. Sleep. Belle pulled her friends close.
We did our best,
she whimpered. Applebloom squeezed the hug tire.
At least we can say that,
Scootaloo sniffed.
Not fair. We're supposed to win.
Neither Applebloom or Sweet Belle had anything to say to that. They held each other tighter and waited for the crushing blow.
Friends?
Sweet Belle whispered. But as Forians, Applebloom replied.
Best friends forever.
The hoof came down, struck a dome of light to suddenly encase the cowering trio. The light burned Feather Duster's flesh, and he recoiled in pain, and he stared in wonder and terror as the dome faded. The three teens were gone. There was only one now. The pony stood and stared at Feather Duster, without a trace of fear. Her long, lithe body was covered in sunshine-yellow fur. Her wings, whiter than any bird in the world, were the same orange as the sunset. A long alabaster horn jutted from the mane of purple with pandy pink. United as one, the Crusaders faced the horror that haunted them all their lives in some way or another. What is this magic? The beast that had been once a bitter old stallion demanded. Elkhorn's voice was deep and booming, a combination of the three friends' own. There is a magic far greater than any fear you could inspire and feed off of. There is a magic older and greater than any other in Equestria. This is the magic that has saved those souls, defeated greater evils than you, and returned harmony to the world time and time again. The Elkhorn's eyes lit with a godlike power. It is the magic of friendship, Feather Duster. It is the magic that will finally defeat you. Feather Duster's one eye twitched. The Elkhorn released all of its ambient magic in a single blast of rainbow-colored light. The magic surrounded Feather Duster in a swirling tornado of blinding light and crackling lightning. We screamed once, and then was silent. As the magic did its work, the alchemy separated the trio once again in a flash of light. Scootaloo shook her head and smiled at the other two.
That was the coolest thing ever.
Applebloom could only nod in agreement. Look! Sleepy pointed to the edge of the pillar as the last of the magic finally faded away. Feather Duster stood on his sticking legs. He appeared now as he always been, in the heart of hearts, a frail, broken thing with a few ratty hairs and a patched gray coat. He stared at them with dazed eyes, filled with fear. He smiled weakly as a few yellow teeth in his mouth.
Mercy?
He asked pathetically. The three mares stared and began to approach him. He shrank beneath their gaze.
Your power's gone, old man. Your power here, and your power over us.
Sleepy pointed her horn dangerously.
You want mercy? Like the mercy you showed Firefly? Or me? Or the fools you killed in the home?
Scootaloo growled. Wings flared. They no longer needed to shield her blank flank. Applebloom reached him first.
You begged for mercy back then, too. Begged my brother for mercy after you killed my parents.
Feather Duster whimpered and drew back to the very edge of the pillar. Applebloom looked down dead in the eyes and smiled.
My brother gave you mercy. So I. What?
Sleepy and Scootaloo said together. Feather Duster sighed in relief as Applebloom turned her back on him.
One little problem. What's that?
Applebloom closed her eyes and thought about the picture of Ma and Pa she kept on her desk.
I'll eat my brother.
She reared back and bucked her legs out with all the strength she could muster. Feather Duster's chest rested from the impact the instant before he plummeted, screaming back into the abyss. Applebloom turned just in time to see him fall with the others. Together, they watched as a fiery portal opened from the darkness. A soul shot out and shifted to a cold hand that lasted to Feather Duster's body. He screamed even louder as the hoof claws on her head appeared. A jet black stallion with burning red eyes. He nodded to the Crusaders and pulled the old stallion through the blazing portal and vanished. The portal sealed, leaving only darkness behind.
What the fuck was that?
William Belle elbowed Scootaloo's ribs in response to her language. Evelyn shook her head.
I don't know. But whatever that thing was, it's probably gonna give Feather Duster the treatment he deserves.
Sleepy fell back onto her haunches.
We did it. We beat him.
Scootaloo tried to be subtle as she checked her flank for any mark that appeared. Still blank. She tried.
Oh well. Might not get a key mark for it, but that doesn't make it not true.
She put her hoof out. The two more joined hers.
Cutie Mark Crusaders, Dream Warriors!
They cried together. Once the cheering had died down, Sleepy Belle looked at the empty landscape.
So, what do we need now?
Scootaloo smiled.
Easy. We wake up.
She caught her hooves on the ground 3 times. Luna woke from her conscious state. At the same instant, the Crusaders stirred from their slumber. She stared at them apprehensively. Megan Puck, I take it you were successful. They nodded, rubbing the sleep from their eyes. Luna sighed in relief. As soon as my son is born and I am able to dream walk again, I suspect I shall have some repenting to do. The 4 ponies laughed. It felt good to laugh. Really laugh again. Luna motioned to the door. If you like, I can arrange sleeping arrangements in the palace for you tonight. Applebloom nodded.
A good night's sleep would really be nice right about now.
Scootaloo shrugged.
I don't know. I'm kind of wired. Wish Pimple's here so we could have some cuddle time.
Luna smiled. What can be arranged? She called her hosts together. Student, join us, she called. The door opened, and a hooded unicorn stepped through.
Yes, Majesty,
she asked, bowing to her teacher slightly. Applebloom tilted her head at a familiar voice.
Trixie? Trixie, what are you doing in this fic? What? Did you really think you were going to spend the whole entire nightmare night away from me?
Oh, no, I was not thinking that. The great incomparable Trixie tossed her back her hood and smiled at the trio. Trixie approached me some time ago and requested to learn magic from me. Apparently, her last attempt to use powerful magic backfired on her, but I realized as if my last apprentice went badly. So, I see Trixie as my chance to fix the mistakes I made.
She looked to her pupil. When do you leave for the ball dance? In the morning, Majesty. Luna nodded and looked to the trio. Your mates, their names. All three glanced. Me is a strong word, Princess. Belle laughed nervously. Her blush netting out on her white fur. For some of us, Applebloom muttered. Scootaloo glared daggers at her farmer and growled Pip's name to Trixie. Applebloom and Belle mentioned Buttonmass and Rubble's name just before Trixie winked out of existence. Not like a recently ascended alicorn princess. Belle broke the uncomfortable silence. So, you and Pip... Drop it! Scootaloo muttered through clenched teeth. Oh, it's fine. I'm not some pretty who thinks you should wait. Drop it! A thought occurred to Belle. Stared at Scarelou's burning face with dawning understanding. Oh, my Celestia. Were you trying to get your cutie mark in... She was cut off by Trixie's return with three very confused colts in tow. Luna glanced at the clock on the wall. Your speed is improving. Trixie grinned. The praise of her teacher is all Trixie desires. She bowed and backed out of the room. Once the door was closed, Applebloom looked at Luna. You know she's just doing this in hopes of becoming an Alcorn princess like Twilight Sparkle. Yes, I knew. Luna finished. Rumble approached his man friend. Would you mind explaining why I just got whisked away from playing games in Button's basement all the way to the night goddess' bedroom? Applebloom laughed and kissed him. He gaped at her. Haven't learned you laughed at that in ages. Belle broke away from Buttonmaster's offenses, just long enough to say, It's a sleepover, silly. That's the only explanation I'm going to get, isn't it? Oh, yep. Applebloom smiled and nuzzled him. Another clap of Luna's hooves brought the same bat pony guard as before. Luna instructed her to take her guests to the finest guest rooms and bid the couples good night. Just before Scootaloo left the room, she looked back to Princess Luna. You're full. What about him? Have you thought of a name? Luna leaned back into her pillows and considered. Not really. Scootaloo remembered the dark, beautiful stallion who came to them with an hour of their greatest need. She remembered his voice as he called out his name from high. What about Moonshadow? Luna thought about it. Moonshadow, she mused. I like it. But Scootaloo was already gone. The door closed behind her. Luna looked out her window and adjusted the moon's position. Absent-mindedly, she stroked her stomach. Rest easy, my little prince, my Moonshadow. Unseen by Luna, the grand dollhouse her sister had given her shook a little, and suddenly illuminated by a blazing light from within. The end. Okay, so you guys might have noticed that there were some references here and there to earlier stories, and you're probably thinking about, well, okay, Belle is Verity's daughter? Scootaloo, what? So before I begin this review, I need to explain some things. What I just read was from Jade Rain's Dear Belle continuity, a massive undertaking of high proportions where this huge continuity about the rest of Equestria, the past, present, and future. It starts us off with a letter from Verity to Belle, revealing to Belle that she is her mother, and then it descends from there. And I think I should talk a little bit about my opinions of the universe before I move on to this. You know, all things considered, I should avoid every single fic from this universe. I really should. Because, well, from the outset, it doesn't feel like something I would enjoy. Shiny Armor cheats on Cadence with Luna and has a bastard child. There are some wheeling and dealings from Celestia. And I think Pinkie Pie dies at one point in the future. There are promises of a great catastrophe, and everything looks bleak. And by all accounts, with all that stumping on me, with all those negatives, I should hate this with every fiber of my being. I should not want to read this. I should be dismissive and make fun of it as much as I do whenever I find out Reality Check has a new Nyx first fic out. And yet, yeah, I don't.
I really don't hate it. I quite in opposite, in fact. I look forward to the end of this story. I look forward to the end of this continuity and where the story goes. And I'm looking forward to the grand adventures that this story produces. And some of these ideas are interesting and fun. And I actually like these stories. Maybe, as like I've always said, there is no such thing as a bad idea. It just takes a great writer to bring it out into the open. And that's what Jade Ring is. He's a pretty great writer. And he's made what should be bad ideas into something good and glorious that really catches the reader's mind. I mean, let me be honest. If I did not tell you about this continuity, wouldn't you have been interested in the other fics, in the other stories? I mean, I had to wonder if you guys had read the story of Luna cheating on using shining armor as her own personal toy and cheating with Cadence. Instead of going, you're instead more like, where are you going with this? That's the power of what makes a good author work. It's the ability to take a bad idea and make it good. Which leads to this story. And as for this story, even with the shoulder of the continuity, it's a pretty dang good standalone story. It tells you just enough of the backstory that you don't really need to read the other 3 stories to feel like you need the backstory. It gives you the basics. Evil Stallion killed the family, tried to kidnap Scootaloo, got killed by Rainbow Dash. Sweet Belle's Randy's daughter. Applebloom is being taken care of her parents by her brother and big sister. And Scootaloo doesn't have her cutie mark yet. It's just neat, short, and tiny. And the Crusaders, of course, are best friends even while they're teenagers. And they're still very much in character. Scootaloo is wry and sarcastic. Applebloom is intelligent. And Sweet Belle, of course, is silly and singful. I love seeing the little bits of hints of relationship between the girls and their lovers. And of course, Luna is perfectly in character as well. Overall, just a really plain and excellent story. Well done and well told, and more of a reason why I enjoyed this. If I have to offer a complaint, it's this. I already used the title Dream Warriors for Equestrian's Mirage. Do you know how annoying it is when I proceed to want to look at my story, Equestrian's Mirage 2 Dream Warriors, and find this awesome fic? It is annoying. I joke. It's not really a big deal. Still, 1 down, several more to go. Next time on this show, join us as we proceed to present to you a fic known as Abracadabra by a well-known poet author of adolescence. Take it away, Twilight. Yes, everything's gonna be just fine. Drop! As soon as I pick up the rest of my legs. Yeah, magical mystery cure. I'm a zombie now. That happened. See you later. Abracadabra. Author, why are you picking these figs?